Welcome to my Design Centre Basics with Echidna. My name is Jackie and this video is about creating an applique design using two shapes. Here's our design we will be making, an ice cream cone that looks good enough to eat. Before watching this video though, let me explain the process of creating an applique. We bring in multiple shapes that are the same, but the stitch type may be different. The first shape is our placement stitch. It tells us where to place the fabric for our applique. Our second shape is the tack down stitch. This is used to tack down the fabric and then you trim to the stitch line. For our third shape, it is the finishing stitch, which will be a satin stitch covering the raw edge. It's important to note with multiple shapes, where they overlay, it is a slightly different process, which you will see later in this video. My Design Centre is available on many Brother models. Today I will be using the Stellaire, but to make sure that we're all on the same page, we do need to change some settings once we get in there. So when we go into My Design Centre, we do need to go into our machine settings, and we need to scroll to our page that gives us our measurements. And we are actually going to change it to inches today. And let's go back to our embroidery frame display. We don't want anything displayed. So to do that, we need to set it to the largest frame, which is our 9.5 by 14 on the Stellaire. We also want to turn off our grid so that we have nothing displayed. And then we're good to go, ready for our next step. The icon style or position on your machine may be different to mine, but the names will be the same. Taking notes is highly recommended as we go through each symbol. And remember, you can stop, rewind, rewatch the video as many times as you like. Let's go create our ice cream. Okay, here on our home screen, go into My Design Centre. This is our pattern drawing screen. To start off, we're going to actually set our line stitch type first, so that when we bring our shapes, it's automatically already on them. So we're going to go into our line options here, and there is a video that goes more into this called Simple Lines and Shapes that you can watch separately from this one. So I won't be going into that here. We're just going to choose what we need today. So we're going to use our double straight stitch, and we're going to select blue and OK. All right, so now we need to select our shape that we need. So we go in here, and we need our triangle first for the cone of the ice cream, and OK. And you'll notice that it has actually already been turned blue. It'll have our double stitch allocated to it, and I'll just zoom in so you can see that it is that blue colour. It also has our red selection box around it, so again it allows me to go into the size and rotate. We do need to rotate it 180 degrees, so we're going to do this one twice, and OK. So now we've rotated it, we go into size to resize it to our 4.5 by 3 inches. So we want it 4.5 by 3. We're going to reduce the height first to our 4.5. I wish I could get it in one go, but no. And let's bring in the width to 3. So it should be 3.0. Oh, there we go. Well done. Okay, so we've got our cone ready to go. So now we need our ice cream. So we're going to shapes again. We're going to grab the circle and OK. And you can see that it's also blue like our cone. So we're ready to resize that one. So going to size. We need this to be 3.0 by 3.0. So we're going to use our 4 arrows in and resize it down. And hopefully we'll get it right on the money. Oop, no, too far. Very close. There we go. So now we've resized to 3 by 3. We need to move our circle up using our up arrow here. And we're going to get it to the top of the cone. So it looks like it's sort of just sitting inside it. So you might need to maneuver it a little bit across to the left. And you can zoom in just to double check where it's sitting. So I'm going to get it about There, I'm happy with that. So we can go okay and out, and we're going to use our eraser now, because what we're going to do is we're going to erase this bottom part of our circle, because we don't need that for our design. So I'm going to go into the eraser. We're going to select our smallest one here, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit more just so I can see closer in where I need to rub out. And this red box here, I'm just going to drag it over, and I'm going to rub out that line. So it is a matter of just touching the screen and going as close as you can. You don't need to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to do about there, and then I'll move my zoom box across and rub out a little bit more on this side. And then we'll move it so we can see this last edge and erase. And as you can see, I've just gone too far, but the way to rectify that, just undo down the bottom and try again. So we'll go up here and probably just try a little bit more. Okay, I'm happy with that. We're going to leave that now, and we'll just zoom back out again. So there is our ice cream cone design. So we're going to use this design as our placement stitch. It will actually be used for each step, and we're going to rub out different components to create our two-step applique. Okay, so what we're going to do first though is we're just going to save our design. So use our pocket with the arrow in and save it to the machine. And we're now going to preview it on the next screen to make sure that it is our double stitch. I'm not changing, so this is how long the stitch is, and we're not changing that, so we're going to leave that. We'll just preview it on our next screen, and as you can see, there's our ice cream cone ready to go. So we're going to set that as our design, and okay, and there's our placement stitch for our design. We're going to go back in now, and we're going to bring in the cone first for our tack down, and then we will do the ice cream top for the tack down. So we go into add, going back into the My Design Center, bringing back in our design we had. So going into the machine, and there's our ice cream there. So we bring that in and set. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in, and we're going to rub away the ice cream top. So we need to zoom in here a couple of times, and we're going to move our zoom box up, and we're going to start erasing that line. So we're going to use the little one, just get as close as you can, and we're just going to rub out our shape here, and just move your zoom box across. On the Luminaire or some of the other models, you would actually just use your, there will be a hand symbol up there, and you would select that to zoom across. And down, and there we go. A little spot left. And we've finished that part, so we can zoom back out. And we can see we have our cone. Now we do need to change this colour because it's a separate step from before. So we're going to go into our line options, and we're going to select, let's select green, and we're going to leave it on, we're actually going to select double stitch, and okay, and we use our bucket to change the line of the whole object, and that's good to go. All right, so now we have our line set to our green double straight. We can go into the next screen. I can see that that's actually what it's set to. I'm going to preview it, and okay. And yes, that's exactly what we need. So we're going to go return. I'm just going to save it into our pocket because we will need that later on. So we're going to save that and preview. And now we can set it to our embroidery. And okay, and now you can see that we have our green line over the top of our blue one, so ready to stitch down our cone fabric. So now we need to bring in the ice cream top as a separate color again. So we're going to add that shape now. So we go into Add, My Design Center. We need to recall our original shape, which was the cone as an ice cream cone as a whole, and set it. And now this time we're going to erase the triangle. So we will zoom in again to make life a little bit easier up around the top there. So grab our eraser, select our little one there, and we're going to erase our cone this time. Just move our box down. It's like being back at kindergarten, so we get to have a bit of a play, rubbing out our lines. And we're almost there, one little section left. Back up to the top here. Try not to, if you inadvertently go over your line here, what happens is you've created a gap that we don't want. So just undo it and redo your eraser and just go really slow up to where you need to go. And I'm happy with that. So we're going to save that one in a moment. So I'll just zoom back out though, so we can see our ice cream. So we're going to go into our line options. We're going to change the line color again. So we go into our options, reselect our double straight, and we're going to select our orangey red here and OK. And we're going to again select our bucket to make sure it changes the whole line, touch on the line, and there's our red ice cream. Now we'll go into our next screen to check out our stitch and colour. So that's correct. We're going to preview it and OK. And I'm happy with that. So we're going to save that shape because we do need this one again as well. So we're going to save it into our pocket. Back to preview. And we're going to set that design as an embroidery and OK. Okay, so we have our ice cream placement stitch, we have our cone tack down stitch, and we have our ice cream tack down stitch. So now we're going to go add our finishing stitches. So we're going to do the cone first. So add and into the My Design Center. Okay, so now we need to recall our cone shape. So into our pocket and from the machine. And we're going to select our green cone and set it. Now we just need to change the colour to our orange colour of the cone, and we're leaving it on satin and OK. Remember to select the bucket to change the whole line and touch on the line. Now we do need to do one more step here. We're actually going to rub out the top line here. So we're going to zoom in again. And I'm just going to move our zoom box and use our eraser, use our small one, and we're just going to erase this line because I actually don't want this to stitch a satin stitch because the ice cream is going to stitch over the top of this part of the design. And okay, there we go. So we'll zoom back out. And I'm happy that that's all set up, ready to go. So we'll go next. We're actually going to increase the width of our satin stitch as this is kind of too fine. So we want it to be a bit wider. So we'll go up to 0.160 and set that. Now we're just going to leave the density as it is. We don't need to change that. So we're going to preview it now and OK. And you see it's a nice width that we've set it to. OK, and we're just going to save that just in case we need to make changes. And there we go, and preview it. And we set that as our embroidery now, and OK. And see how it's now covered those other previous shapes. So our last shape that we need to do now is our ice cream top. OK, so we're going to add that, go back into the My Design Center. We're going to recall the ice cream, which is sort of like our half circle, and set it. Now we need to set that whole shape, so there's no rubbing out of this one. We're just going to change the line colour to our lovely pink ice cream, and we're going to leave it on satin and OK. Choose our bucket to change the whole line, and we'll change it to pink. Now that was very hard to see, so we will zoom in and you can see that that's now pink. Zoom back out and we'll go into our next screen. Now we do need to increase our width again on this one, so we'll go back in there and increase it to our 0.160 again and set it. We're going to preview that and OK. And there's the top of our ice cream, very happy with that. So return, and we're just going to save it into our pocket again and back to preview, set it as our embroidery design. So as you can see, here is our placement stitch. This is our tack down stitch for our cone, a tack down stitch for our ice cream. Then we have our finishing stitch for the cone, and then our finishing stitch for the ice cream top. Okay, so I've hooped up and we'll just load this onto the machine, ready for our applique. Put that on. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready to go into embroidery mode. So select that. Now it is asking me to change to a larger frame because our design is off center. So it will fit in our 5x7. I can tell because it gives me the size up there of our design. So we're going to go OK. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our machine settings, tell it that we're using the 5x7 frame, and OK. And I can see that it is slightly above. Now, for me to move all those shapes, I actually do need to group it. So we're going to go into this area here, and we're going to group the whole design, and now it'll allow me to move it all as one. So we're going to move it down. And I actually could have just selected the center button and it would move it right into the center there. And okay, so now we're ready to go. We can go into our embroidery screen now. We should not get the message that we can't use it, and we are fine to go. Something to note at this point is that we don't need all these different colors that we have here. We're actually going to start with our cone finishing color, and then we'll just change to our pink finishing stitch at the end, because we don't need to really worry about changing our colors here. They're just so that the machine stops and we can do each step separately. Okay, next is our placing our fabric down, ready for the tack down stitch for the ice cream cone. Okay, so now that's stitched down the fabric, we're just going to pop our hoop off and we're going to trim that fabric back to that tack down line. All right, so let's pop our hoop back onto the machine, and we just need to do our tack down stitch now for our ice cream. So let's grab our ice cream fabric, and we just need to make sure we cover that line with our fabric, and we're ready to go. Okay, now we're ready to do our finishing stitch for the ice cream cone. Here is our ice cream cone using layered applique. It looks great, doesn't it? I'm sure you'll go on to create other fun designs. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.